There was a time when multiplayer didn't mean going online. It meant being in the same room, same TV, same sofa, same arguments. And for a lot of players in the late 90s, one game defined that entire experience: WCW/nWo Revenge. Before it, wrestling games existed. They had characters, they had moves, they had matches, but they didn't quite capture what made wrestling fun to play with other people. They felt stiff, unpredictable in the wrong ways. More about button mashing than control, Revenge changed that. Not by making everything faster, but by making everything feel right. The first thing players noticed wasn't flashy presentation, it was the controls. They felt deliberate, responsive. Every grapple had weight. Every move had timing. You weren't just pressing buttons and hoping something happened. You were choosing actions, and that made a huge difference. Because once you understand a system, you start to engage with it differently. Matches became less about chaos and more about moments, locking up in the middle of the ring, timing a counter perfectly, hitting a move at just the right time. There was a rhythm to it, a back and forth that felt closer to an actual wrestling match than anything before it. And that rhythm is what made multiplayer special. Because suddenly, matches weren't random. They were competitive. You could learn, you could improve, you could outplay your friends, and that created rivalry. Real rivalry. The kind that carried over between matches, between sessions, between entire weekends. Revenge wasn't just something you played once. It was something you came back to again and again. Because every match felt different. Every opponent played differently. Some were aggressive, some were defensive, some just tried to throw you out of the ring immediately. And that unpredictability made every session feel fresh. There was also something important about the pacing. Matches weren't rushed. You had time to build momentum, to wear your opponent down, to set up a finish. And that slower pacing made victories feel earned. It wasn't about who pressed the most buttons. It was about who understood the system better. That understanding created a deeper connection to the game. And that connection made every win feel personal. Every loss too. Because when you lost, it wasn't random. You knew why, and that made you want to play again, to improve, to get better. Multiplayer nights became something more than just playing a game. They became events. You'd plan them, talk about them, remember them. 4 controllers plugged in, everyone picking their wrestler, arguments starting before the match even began. Who's using Goldberg? Who's picking Sting? Who's going for someone unexpected just to cause chaos? Those choices mattered, because they shaped how the match played out. And once the match started, everything changed. The room got louder, reactions got bigger. Every near fall felt important. Every reversal felt huge. Every finish felt like a moment. Because everyone was watching, everyone was involved. There was no disconnect, no lag, no distance, just shared experience. That's something modern multiplayer often struggles to recreate. Because it's not just about gameplay, it's about presence, being there, reacting together. Revenge created that environment naturally, and that's why it's remembered the way it is. Not just as a good wrestling game, but as a great multiplayer game. The kind that brought people together. The kind that created stories. Stories you still remember years later. That one match where everything went wrong. That one win that felt impossible. That one moment that made everyone in the room react at once. Those moments matter because they're not scripted, they're created. And games that allow players to create moments tend to last longer in memory. Revenge also nailed something that's easy to overlook: balance. No one character felt completely overpowered. No one strategy worked every time. You had to adapt. You had to read your opponent, and that reading added another layer to the experience. It wasn't just about the game, it was about the person you were playing against, understanding their habits, predicting their moves, outthinking them. That's what made it feel competitive, in a real way, not artificial, not forced, just natural competition between players. There's also something about the presentation. It wasn't overly flashy, it didn't rely on spectacle, but it felt authentic. The wrestlers looked like themselves, moved like themselves, acted like themselves, and that authenticity added immersion. Because you weren't just playing a game, you were recreating something familiar, something you recognized, and that familiarity made it easier to get invested. Looking back now, the graphics are simple. The animations are limited compared to modern games, but the gameplay still holds because it's built on solid foundations. Timing, weight, control, those elements don't age. They stay relevant because they're fundamental to good design. Revenge didn't try to do too much. It focused on what mattered, and what mattered was how it felt to play, especially with others. That focus is what made it special, and it's what made it stand out, even among other wrestling games, even among other multiplayer games. It found a balance between accessibility and depth, easy to pick up, hard to master, perfect for groups, perfect for long sessions, perfect for creating memories. And that's really what this game was about. Memories, not just gameplay, but moments shared with other people, moments that felt bigger than the game itself, because they involved real reactions, real emotions, real competition. That's what changed multiplayer nights. Not just better mechanics, but better experiences. Experiences that people wanted to return to, that they talked about, that they remembered. Revenge didn't just improve wrestling games. It improved how people played together. It showed that multiplayer didn't need to be complicated. It just needed to feel right. And when something feels right, people stick with it. They build routines around it. They create traditions. And that's exactly what happened here. For many players, Revenge wasn't just a game. It was part of their social life, part of their routine, part of their memories growing up. And that's something very few games achieve, because it's not just about design, it's about connection. Connection between players, between moments, between memories. Revenge created that connection. And that's why it still matters. Not because it was the most advanced game of its time, but because it created something lasting, something shared, something real. And years later, that's what people remember most.